Hello and welcome to the Manufacturers Hub podcast. And today we're speaking to Martin Spackman of TotalQ. So Martin, I'll let you do the intro on this one. TotalQ, what is it do you do?
Yeah, so hi Richard. So TotalQ, we're a company that initially were offering support within automotive quality management, supplier management, and support around accreditations. More recently, we've started looking at how we can roll out automotive best practice in other industries. So if you're looking for how you can have process improvements within your business, streamlining, and almost just giving lean consulting to your team to sort of give more coaching to employees. That's what we've moved towards now, which is fantastic, to be honest.
Great. So is it what kind of quality management do you kind of do? Is it just ISO 9001 or is it other accreditations as well?
So I was going to cover a few. So my bread and butter, so to speak, is ISO 9001 and IATF 16949. So they're what I've done for many years. When I had hair, I started within automotive. More recently, been looking around 27,001, so around data. Then the obvious ones you get as well around 14,001 and 45,001. So you're looking at health and safety and environmental management.
Okay. So are these something you're looking at doing very soon, or are these a little bit in the future?
We're consulting on them now, to be honest. Also done some work around local authority planning as well recently with a contractor. So before I even went into automotive, I did quite a lot of work with local authorities, with my local council where I'm from in Oxfordshire. So yeah, still keeping in touch with people there, still doing some work in the past around that area. And as you know, a contractor you shouldn't be pigeonholing yourself effectively. I'm available to support if I know I can add value. Certainly, yeah.
Great. So what does it take to implement ISO 9001?
So the main thing you need first is that commitment from the leadership. You want the leadership to buy into the 9001 principles. So what you don't want to happen is someone come to you say, we need to get 9001 to get this piece of work, or we need to get 9001 to tick the box. Because reality is people will support you on the audit, and then everything's going to start sliding as you start moving forward as a business. From I've also got two hats on as a consultant. Yeah, I can put it in quite easily in a business, but where I've been quality manager a few times now in the past, you want it so it's a consistent thing within the business. So that leadership commitment to bring it into the business for the right reasons, i.e. they want to demonstrate that they're using best practice in the industry. They want to know that what they're doing is repeatable, and they're putting their customer first. I think all of those things are the most important things of why you should do it 9001.
Okay. Does it kind of range, like if you have more staff members or less staff members, is it easier to implement or?
Um, if you had a business where everyone was brand new, never worked before, yeah, it's going to be impossible. But the reality is, everyone's worked in a place, whether they know it or not, where some form of process management, some form of compliance is there, and that's half the battle. Most businesses have people now that have worked, say, 10 years, 15, 20 years, so they know around 9001. And sometimes it's just a reminder that you're looking with fresh eyes and you're saying, if you approach this situation by doing X, Y, Z, for example, where they've always done ABC, sometimes you're given a fresh perspective by putting selling the benefit almost on that new approach rather than what's easy. It's not necessarily what's best. And
Yeah.
that's sometimes one of the bigger battles, certainly when I've been into businesses.
Okay. So we're kind of already kind of skimmed this anyway as part of the question, but as a business, why should I implement this ISO 9001?
I mean, for me, like I said, 9001 is all around sort of your best practice and having something that's repeatable. So if you have processes clearly mapped out, you have a clear view on how you manage your suppliers, for example, how you're evaluating their performance. If you're looking at the risk factors, certainly, you can then not just look at 9001 as a tool that is telling you how well you can fix the problem. But if you're using effective risk management, for example, you can
Yeah.
almost use a preventative tool in your business. And that preventative tool then, of course, can be a cost saver, can be a reputation saver for an organization as well.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, do I need to train everyone, or do I need to change anything in my quality department?
Depends on the business. And most quality managers, not all, most quality managers will always want that. Again, like I say, that repeatability. They want something controlled. Um, it'd be good to do an awareness session. We can always keep learning. So if you look at the continuous improvement element of 9001, for example, always seeing how we can get better, how can we make things better for the customer, better for the teams. So yes, you can train people. You can do webinars. You can do, say, a half-hour reminder on Teams via video chat. You can also not do it at all. But like anything in life, what you put in is what you get out most of the time. And the more you put in, again, if you're looking how you want to increase your sort of risk mitigation, those webinars could be key to informing everyone within the business of what you're doing and why, not just because we want a nice certificate on the wall.
Yeah, that's the main thing, really, is actually implementing it and using it to your advantage, isn't it?
So I'm based within Northampton in Rushden. Originally, I'm from Oxford. Relocated to Rushden probably about 8 or 9 years ago now, closer to work. So obviously, there you've got the corridor through the Midlands where the automotive bases traditionally are. Company-wide, I cover the whole country, to be honest. Obviously, the preference is to have a job around the corner. Of course, it is. But if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And sometimes you travel, sometimes you don't. I've had a contract that is probably about 10, 15 minutes from my house for a
Okay,
4 month contract.
yes, close.
I've had the last two contracts where I've probably travelled about an hour and a half. And yeah, it's swings and roundabouts a little bit, and it's what you put in, what you get out.
So are these contracts, are they kind of long contracts? How long does it normally take?
So the way my roles work in, certainly for the last few contracts, is someone's come to me with a question almost saying, we want to implement XYZ. We need this fixing. And rather than them giving me a time, I ask a few questions first, understand what they've got in place already, so I can give a more realistic time frame. So it's really easy for me to say, oh, that's going to take 6 months, that's going to take 12 months. But if it only takes 4 months, then I'm wasting 2 months' time, and it's not fair on anyone, to be honest. Because we go as a contractor, so you go in, you want to get a job done, and yeah, in an ideal world, of course, you're here to stay, but at the same time, want to be productive, want to be adding value, and that's one of the things I've really enjoyed about the contracting side of things.
Yeah. No, it's just getting it done quicker, isn't it? It's enjoying being in different places, kind of different teams, and hopefully, obviously,
Yeah,
you can implement these quicker than they ask. Really, I didn't know how long it take myself. I wasn't sure if it was a week thing or a couple of week thing. Obviously, it's
yeah.
a lot more in depth.
I mean, yeah. I mean, everyone's going to give a different answer because everyone's got different ways of how they present. So of course, I've got a toolkit full of different formats for document formats. Sorry, processes, instructions, and you could go to a business and it'd be very, very easy to then say, right, here's your new ISO 9001 toolkit. This is what you use. This person needs to be responsible. You need to hold a management review maybe once a year. This is your agenda, done. I'm off, see you later. The trick for me certainly is you need to understand who's there. Again, understand what the leadership want, why they want what they're asking for, especially we look around that 9001 specifics. Once you've got that, then you do basic gap analysis to find out what's in place already. Because
Yeah,
the more you can utilize within the business, the easier it is, not just for you, but for the business to use moving forwards. Because
yeah,
from my perspective, reputation is everything for what I do. And I can put a fantastic 9001 kit in that's got the most perfect processes in the world. But if it's not what the business use, if it's different industry and they work in a
yeah,
slightly different manner, as soon as I leave, firstly, they're going to pay for someone else to come fix my problems. And also, your word spreads. And I want people to be satisfied with the work I'm doing, certainly. I've had that not just in contracting, but throughout my career. I'm sure there's people that obviously not everyone's going to like what you do, especially in the quality manager. You're sometimes as popular as the traditional health and safety manager, walking around with a clipboard, because not many people like being told they're not doing things the right way. It's that almost a coaching rather than the old school effing and blinding to someone that this is the reason why we do things. So going back to your original question, really, you really need to understand what's in a business. You need to understand the people that are there as well. And once you've got that, then it all starts really going very quickly. Then,
Yeah. But did you find it kind of harder with companies that are older, or kind of set in their
yeah,
ways, or?
yeah. I mean, yeah, you can start somewhere that's relatively new, but the people that go into it have been hired because they're experienced. But you can go somewhere that's quite historic as a company, got a lot of history within them, within their name. And I've done some work with companies like that, but the team's very green, and they don't really know what they want other than the customer requirement is they have certain ISOs in place, or they have IATF. So again, it's really dependent, but the easier ones, like I said, are where you get that top leadership support, because not everyone's going to turn around to you and say, yeah, we'll do this for you. Yes, we'll do this. Because sometimes you're told it's not a priority for the business, even though
Yeah.
you're being told by your owners it is. Sometimes you're being told, I can't be bothered to do that. It's not my job. Again, benefits. So, yeah, it depends where you are. There's no real fine line. It's quite difficult to judge, if I'm honest.
Right. I say it's pretty like hard, really. I mean, the owners are probably getting you in for a reason. So anyone else below is well, this guy's here for a reason. So we should just let him get on with
Yeah,
what he needs.
exactly. And I've been I mean, I had one a while ago where I was brought in specifically to help set up a production line, for example. But I was giving advice, informal advice to someone else within the plant because they were going for a 9001 audit while I was there, coincidentally. There was nothing that I was being asked to do, but I could already see some gaps there just from walking around. I could see some really big misses that an auditor would spot a mile off. Yeah, it wasn't part of my role. I was there to do something pretty different. But if that had gone wrong the other side of the factory, it indirectly would have impacted me because they would have lost work elsewhere. But also sometimes just the right thing to do
Yeah.
in a way.
Um, your history is mainly automotive. So are the clients you're working with at the moment mainly automotive, or are they kind of a bit varied?
Varied, to be honest. So, yeah, you're right. My history is automotive. So, by default, it was easy to go into automotive through contacts. It's easy to absolutely abuse LinkedIn to message everyone that I used to work with, reach out just as what I knew. But I didn't expect the other industries. So, there's other industries. So I mentioned about the EV chargers. With a company down in London that offer like a data center, um, based across the globe. There's some there that obviously I didn't expect, but then when you listen to what they need from you, it actually makes sense. And I've had a few other inquiries come through recently where I've been asked again to put those best practices in, because whilst the work may be drying up in automotive, in other industries it isn't. But at the same time, their bills are rising, income may be going down because everyone's feeling pinch, so to speak. So as soon as they look at that, they say, right, where can we save money? Where can we be more efficient as well? And those two questions really then start to point towards companies like myself. I'm sure other consultants are seeing the same thing. And yeah, it's nice. It's a nice change. Obviously, it'd be really nice to see that automotive manufacturing in the UK pick up. And yeah, I hope it does. There's lots of exciting things going on in the UK at the moment. And yeah, without it being shameless, but the work that you guys do with Manufacturers Hub will hopefully contribute to that as well. So yeah, you
Thank
guys
you.
should
I think
probably
we're
do
always looking out for new businesses to help, and especially with new kind of investments in the UK. I'm kind
that.
of automotive based, kind of myself as well, so I'm quite keen on anything automotive manufacturing to come into the UK as well. I've heard even some of the kind of Chinese manufacturers are looking to bring factories over here as well. But yeah, I don't know how I feel on that, but it's still UK jobs and UK supply chain, I suppose. So
Yeah, I
you can help.
mean, yeah, I've been asked for similar, to be honest. And yeah, that work's coming across here for a reason. We've got a skill set, we've got an approach with it, certainly within the UK, from what I've seen, an approach in the UK that we can get things done. There's reliability there. Maybe it's the other economic factors in the past that's impacted that. Where you look at the plants such as Vauxhall in Luton, for example, there was people there that worked for generations. Brilliant plant. I was there for 5 and a bit years. Absolutely loved it. And there's some very, very talented people that went that, yeah, unfortunately, it's not due to those people that the work's gone. It's other factors outside of it. But yeah, that's why for people like myself, then, maybe have to look outside the box.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Well, I'm sure obviously eventually you'll get some more work in other areas as well. But it's nice to still have the areas the areas that you kind of have the expertise in. And there's
Yeah,
hundreds of factories in the UK, even if they're tier ones, they're tier twos, all still do automotive manufacturing. So
exactly. Exactly. I mean, I'm quite fortunate. I mean, yeah, I've got the work. I've got some work myself. There's a network, certainly for my company, of around 5 or 6 different subcontractors that I can call on. So some of the work that I do, for example, where I talk about supplier management and bottleneck management, um, there's stuff you don't plan for. If a supplier is going to have a breakdown or a supplier is starting to short ship you, for example, that's not something you really have notice on. So you get a call and it's like, I need someone yesterday. So
yeah.
yeah, having that network certainly helps me. Um, the early morning phone calls, maybe not, but I mean, the phone's always on for a reason, and it will always be on.
I did
But
notice
yeah,
that the other day you messaged me at like 5:30 in the morning, so I know you're up early.
yeah, this morning, yeah, like I said, just before we started this, this morning up at 4:30, ready to go to the current contract. So the darkness, is creeping up in the morning.
So obviously, I noticed you said you're obviously working with some contractors as well. So you're mainly on your own, are you, and you're just subcontracting people in help?
Yeah. Yeah, so my business is relatively new. I've done this sort of work for informally for quite a few years. Um, Business is relatively new. Um, and then when I got made redundant from a previous role, it was, I've got to pay my mortgage at the end of the month. What am I going to do? And what was going to be almost a side hustle, being honest, where I could maybe support documentation, suddenly became the main thing. And yeah, within the last year, it's been an absolute roller coaster. I mean, I've been to CQI Awards, got to meet Princess Anne there, being a judge on the awards, which is fantastic. We've had really each month we're sort of starting to get more and more money through. And yeah, it's certainly not going to be an empire building because I just think I'd have a heart attack after a couple of years. But it's certainly something that where it's adding the value and enjoying it. Go to work, have a smile. Of course, we pay our bills, but just enjoying things, making a difference. And even if it's not within automotive, it's getting that best practice outside of it. Because yes, like I said, in the UK, there's an abundance of talented people, and I'm fortunate I can call on quite a few of them, subject to their own availability. Because if I want to use them, so do other people. That works well.
Good. The question I kind of just thought of actually right now is actually how much does it cost to implement? Is there kind of an average price or over a certain time, or can you give any kind of valuation on it?
I mean, it really depends on the business. I've been some places where you can implement it within, say, 3 or 4 months. You can get the processes and a lot of the documentation in quite easily. But the better external audits, you're going to need evidence. So it's one thing having the processes, but you need the evidence there to prove it. So as a guide, normally you're looking around a year. Some might say it's sooner. I think realistically, to have a really good core base of information, you're looking around a year, where you can hold a full internal audit cycle, for example, and not just give people the answers of how to close non-conformities. You can do management reviews, you can do training of different teams, you can train those internal auditors, you can pull together process maps, process flows. You can probably do it sooner, maybe in 10 months. But yeah, obviously, the more you put into external audit, the more evidence you've got, the easier it is, and the less likely you are to have those non-conformities. But I've been also places where without that leadership support, it's probably it could take you 18 months, 2 years, and you could be banging the drum saying, "Yeah, we need to do this, you need to do that." But if you're then told it's not a priority for us within the business, all of a sudden it comes back to, well, why do you need us here?
Yeah, no, exactly. I've seen quite a few people posting, but obviously they've now got the accreditation. But sometimes I suppose it's for them, it could be a bit of a relief as well for how long it takes to how much they've invested in it as well, and had to change some businesses to be able to get it.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, yeah, I've been places. I mean, I did a startup, EV startup. That wasn't through my business. That was fully employed, and we went through the 9001 audit with a brand new vehicle, brand new workforce, brand new factory, and we went through the ISO 9001 audit and had no non-conformities, like major or minor. Didn't even have any opportunity to improvement. It was literally the perfect audit. And the dubious ones could say, "Oh, you've had a terrible external audit come in," but it was actually very challenging, to be honest. It's just we put so much work in. I'm really fortunate to have a leadership team that wanted that accreditation, not just saying we need to have this on the wall in the reception. And that's why I say that leadership buy-in makes such a difference. And a quality manager's nightmare is to have one of a new building, a new workforce, or a new vehicle, and we had all three together.
Wow.
So yeah, it's when you get it, yeah, it's a massive relief, and yeah, maybe a few scoops had after, but yeah.
So, have you got any plans for the future? What's in store for LQ?
So for TotalQ, effectively keep doing what we're doing. Um, Really fortunate. We've had a really good year this year, so looked at more from a company point of view what we can do. If we look at sort of values, what I'm trying to push out from my business, it's almost trying to sort of look at community work and what more we can do to give. And that's not saying it's going to be like Live Aid or Comic Relief or something. But on the flip side, the area I've come from in the past, when you think of Oxford, you think fantastic, it's all Dream inspires, but Dream inspires one area. The state I grew up on certainly isn't that. So certainly trying to see more of what I can do to make things better. So recently, for example, I've sponsored the main stand of a National League North side Oxford
Yeah,
City.
I did see that.
Um,
Yeah, impressive.
it was, yeah, I'll be honest, I saw my company logos on there. Yeah, there was a tear or two because you see, I've done that. And the people that have worked with me, yeah, thanking them as well. But there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And we joke about how early I'm waking up and how late I'm getting back. To be on my laptop now in the evening isn't unusual. But that's, as you guys know, that's what you've got to do sometimes to support, and that's what you've got to do to grow. But you still got to make time for your family. Really, really fortunate with a wife, kids, etc. It's amazing. I'm very lucky, but not many would have that support behind them. So yeah, I'm really fortunate. So yeah, being able to keep
Yeah.
seeing them, of course, but the community side of it is something I really want to grow for the business as well. Seeing what more benefit we can give. So like one of the things, for example, that sponsorship, giving tickets to my old school so some of the kids can go see football. It's very close to where the school is. It's not a big thing, but it might be they've not been there. And even if two or three of the kids then say, actually, I want to come back up again, or they join the local team there, the community feel there is incredible. And I'm not just saying I was blown away when I went there, and look forward to going back again very soon.
It's nice to give back, isn't it? It's nice to give back.
Yeah,
But I'm sure it's going to be the Total Q Premier League next, is it?
oh, yeah, I might need to put my fee up, but yeah. Yeah. My friends were joking. So I'm an Oxford United fan as well, and they're just recently in the middle of getting planning permission for a new ground. My friends were joking that was the next one, but I'm not sure I could compete with the millions that are on offer probably to sponsor that ground. But yeah, we'll see.
Maybe, you never know. I was going to ask is, it's just gone from my head actually. Where can people find you? Obviously, you're on LinkedIn. You're on Manufacturers Hub. Do you go to events? Is there other places you want to sponsor or advertise?
No, so yeah, the main one is definitely LinkedIn. I'm a coffee junkie, so whenever I'm getting a coffee, I'm always looking on my LinkedIn. Got a website, totalq.co.uk, the letter Q. I go to some shows. If I'm honest, I've had to slow that down, mainly just because where I talked about that balance, it's just something that I had to give effectively. Um, Still going to some, but not many. So like the bigger ones, like advanced engineering, for example, I'll probably try going to those. Um, but they're the main place to find me. LinkedIn definitely. So LinkedIn myself, or I've got a Total Q LinkedIn as well. There's also contact details within our website, as I say, totalq.co.uk.
Perfect. Well, I think that's the end of my questions anyway. But it's finally nice to have you on the podcast. After talking obviously on LinkedIn, I don't think we've ever kind of had a Teams or a Zoom chat, so it's nice to see you in person as well. But thanks for being on.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And yeah, you guys keep up the good work as well.
Great. Thank you very much.